Welcome to the Lior Cohen podcast, your gateway to reconnecting with your true self and living the life you were meant to live. Each week, we'll embark on a journey of self-discovery, healing, and deep connection with your intuition and inner wisdom. Through guided insights and reflections, you'll expand your consciousness, gain clarity on what's holding you back, and awaken to your passion and purpose. Get ready to break free from limitations and step into a life of creativity, abundance, joy, and inner peace.
Welcome back to the podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I encourage you to start with episode 1 so you can follow the journey from the beginning. Mindfulness, like any meaningful practice, builds layer by layer. Each insight deepens the next, and the path becomes clearer and the further we walk it. I'm your host, Hila, and I joined once again by Lior Cohen, a wellness coach and a guided meditation facilitator who specialize in helping people find calm, gain clarity, and reconnect with their inner self through mindfulness, breathwork, and meditation. Lior worked with people from all walks of life, guiding them on their journey to emotional healing and a life filled with clarity and purpose. It's great to have you back here, Lior.
Hi, Hila.
How it's going?
Going well. Happy to be here.
It's such a pleasure to host you again. It's been a long time since we last saw each other. Can you believe this is already our fifth meeting? I have to admit, though, the topic of thoughts is still lingering in my mind. I'm still not quite sure what I'm supposed to do with all of them.
Well, that's a great question. We often know that the best learning happens through questions. By the way, in the practice of mindfulness, that's actually one of the most powerful ways to learn and grow. Most of the time, the questions that arise from personal experiences, whether during practice or everyday life, are incredibly valuable. One day you suddenly realize you're caught in thought, and a question pops up. Wait, this whole mindfulness thing, what exactly am I supposed to do with it now? That moment of awareness is exactly where we can begin to explore more deeply. I think that's a perfect entry point for us to dive into this topic in our upcoming session. I just want to emphasize that the most powerful and essential tool in practicing mindfulness is observation. That's our key. And what exactly are we observing? There are three main areas. First, the body and the breath, noticing the sensation and the natural rhythm of breathing. Second, our emotions, becoming aware of what we're feeling. And third, often the most prominent of many of us, the world of thought, observing what's unfolding in the mind without getting swept away by it.
These mean that the word of thought is a mix of both feelings and thoughts. They can exist together, right? A thought can trigger a certain feeling, which in turn can lead to another thought or even a stronger, more coherent one.
Exactly. In our previous conversation, we explored the continuous interconnected feedback loop between the mind and the body, how they interact across three key dimensions: thought, emotion, and the physical body. You can imagine this as a triangle, with each corner representing one of these three elements. The connection between them isn't linear, it's a dynamic and constantly flowing. Any of the elements can influence the other too. For example, a single thought can spark an emotion, which then trigger a physical response, or a physical sensation can steer an emotional reaction, which in turn shape our thought. One of the powerful aspects of mindfulness is that it gives us access to this triangle. With awareness, we begin to notice how these elements interact, and that opens up space to shift the system. Sometimes it's a subtle redirection, other times is more intentional change. By observing any gently adjusting one element, we can influence the entire loop. Imagine I'm caught up in a spiral of negative thought, like I've unknowingly started directing and starting an inner movie. But through mindfulness, I begin to notice how my body is reacting: tense shoulders, shallow breathing, a clenched jaw. And simply by becoming aware of those sensations, by turning my attention to the body, I can interrupt that cycle. The movie loses its power. The projection fades. Other times, it happens the other way around. I feel overwhelmed by mental noise, completely lost in thought, and my body starts to show signs of stress. Then, something shifts. I catch myself and think, wait a second, Lior. You're in the middle of a movie. Come back. That moment of recognition, that brief return to the presence can be enough. I reconnect with my body, with my present. I ground myself in the now. Emotion often arrives without any clear cause. You might wake up with heaviness in your chest or a vague sense of unease. There is no obvious story, just a mood. And if we are not mindful, we tend to go looking for a reason. We dig into the past regrets or future worries, trying to explain the feeling. But doing that can deepen the emotional loop instead of easing it. Mindfulness offers a different path. I can simply pause and acknowledge there is anxiety here this morning. No need to fix it, analyze it, or make sense of it. I don't have to board the train of overthinking. Maybe I already know that a short walk, a moment of stillness, or a few deep breaths outside can help reset my nervous system. That small physical shift can ease the emotion, which then soften the thought that come next. The key is observation, awareness. It's the practice of tuning in without judgment, meeting whatever arises with presence and compassion. It's like checking your pulse, gently placing your fingers on your wrist or neck, listening for that quiet rhythm. In mindfulness, we learn to do that inwardly. The sense of our emotional pulse, our physical sensations, and the patterns of our thought. That simple act of noticing, of checking in with what's here, opens the door to clarity, calm, and change.
You know that one friend we all have? Or sometimes we are that friend who says, stop playing those movies in your head. It's become a kind of shorthand for the mental loops we get caught in, replaying scenarios or thoughts that don't serve us. And the interesting thing is, when we say that, it sounds like it's conscious choice. Like someone is actually sitting down with a bowl of popcorn and saying, yes, let me watch this anxiety inducing film in my head. But that's not the case. No one wants to get caught in those spiral. No one enjoy looping through thoughts that trigger stress, anxiety, and emotional pain. And yet, it happens. Sometimes it feels automatic, unavoidable, like the mind has hit play, whether you agree to it or not. So, Lior, here is a question for you. Is there a complementary practice, kind of supplement, if you will, that can work alongside mindfulness? Something that helps us see the mechanism at play, or even gently dismantle them before they take over. Something that gives us a foothold when we feel ourselves being pulled into yet another return of these inner dramas. Because it often feels like we're not watching one movie. We're stuck in a whole Netflix series of them. The same theme, the same triggers, just with different scenery. And if mindfulness is the awareness that let us pause, maybe there is something else that help us shift or soften that loop. Maybe there is a way to consume less of it, or better yet, transform it entirely.
Absolutely yes. You are bringing up a really important point here, and I would love to unpack it with a simple analogy that makes the idea more relatable. Let's talk about nutrition. When we were kids, I can still picture it so clearly. We would go through a bag of nachos and Doritos like they were air. We didn't care about anything else. They were just too delicious to stop eating.
Delicious. Totally.
Absolutely. And we had no idea trans fat even existed.
Or empty carbs.
Exactly. Those concepts weren't even part of our vocabulary. It was either tasty or not tasty. That's it.
Exactly.
Here's another example. We knew, at least on some level, that smoking wasn't good for us. But even that wasn't always clear. Go back 50 years and you would still see ads with doctor recommending cigarettes for stress relief. It was like, smoke a little, it will help you relax. And just like we had to learn to be more mindful of what we put into our bodies, mindfulness now invites us to be more conscious about what we're feeding our minds. That's a true breakthrough of mindfulness. It's not just about finding calm, it's about nourishment the mind.
The nourishment of the mind. I love that phrase. And it's especially striking when you tie it back to the metaphor we mentioned earlier about consuming movies. It's so accurate. We're not just thinking, we're consuming thoughts.
Totally. It's not a metaphor, it's real. We're literally feeding our mind certain things, just like we do with our body. So when we talk about the diet of the mind, we're talking about what kind of content, thought, emotions, and stories we're taking in on a regular basis. And mindfulness gives us kind of awareness filter. It helps us become more selective about what our mind eats, what we are consumed mentally.
Okay, but unlike food, where I open the fridge and choose what I want to eat, with thoughts, it often feel like I didn't choose them. They just appear. So what exactly does the power of choice come in?
Yes, that's exactly the turning point. Yeah, you are absolutely right. We don't get to choose the thoughts that arise. They come uninvited. That's the nature of the mind. It produces thought like the heart beats or the stomach digests. But what we do get to choose is what we do with those thoughts. So mindfulness gives us this moment of pause. We can notice, I just walk into a fast food restaurant of my mind. Do I want to stay and eat this right now? Or can I step out? That's where the power of choice begins.
So just like I might open the fridge, see the tempting chocolate cake and say, looking amazing, but not right now, not what I need, I can also do that with a thought. I can say, oh, interesting, but no, thank you.
Exactly. And the key is to do it without judgment, not with shame, not with harshness. We don't say, how could I think of that? Or why am I always like this? No, we notice gently with kindness and curiosity. We say, ah, this is what my mind is serving up right now. That's mindfulness. That's the beginning of shifting the diet of the mind.
It sounds like this is kind of awareness is very powerful, but also hard to maintain all the time.
Absolutely. That's why we call it a practice. It's not about being mindful all the time. This is not realistic. However, just like training a muscle, the more we practice, the more accessible it becomes, especially when we need it the most. And one thing I always remind people, mindfulness is not about stopping thought, it's about changing our relationship with them. So instead of being carried away and reacting to the thought, we take a step back, we become the observer, watching the movie rather than being the lead actor and trapped into it.
That's such a big shift, being the audience instead of the actor.
Exactly. And let's be real, sometimes we'll find ourselves right back on stage, caught up in the drama. But even in these moments, if there's a small part of us that notice, I'm in that movie again, that awareness gave us a taste of freedom. It's like a doorway opening. That's where change begins. That's how we start influencing the mind's diet. We begin to say, I see that what I'm taking in, and I can choose something different.
And that's something we can practice?
Definitely. In fact, I would love to offer a short guidance practice, something really simple that helps people experience this shift. How to observe thought, let them come and go, and gently unhook from the ones that don't serve us. Let's start by finding a comfortable position. You can sit down on a comfortable chair or sofa, or lay down, whatever feels good for your body. And now take a slow, deep breath in and out through the nose. And when you're ready, gently close your eyes. And take another slow, deep breath in and out through the nose. Let's start by finding a comfortable position. You can sit down on a comfortable chair or sofa, or lay down, whatever feels good for your body. Now take a deep breath in and out through the nose. And when you're ready, gently close your eyes. Take another deep breath. Inhale through the nose and slowly exhale through the mouth. Oh. Let's do that one more time. Inhale deeply through the nose and exhale through the mouth, letting the body settle. Allow the breath to return to its own natural rhythm. Take a few moments just to feel your body where it is. The weight of your body supported by the surface you're resting on. Notice any points of contact, your feet on the ground, your back, your hands resting. Now, gently bring your attention to the breath. You don't need to breathe in any special way. Just notice the inhale and the exhale. If it helps, you can silently say to yourself, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Now, like a curious observer, start to notice your thoughts. You don't need to stop them. You don't need to change them. Just notice them as you're sitting by the side of a river, watching leaves float by, or laying on the grass, watching clouds move through the sky. A thought may come, you notice it, and then, like a cloud, you let it drift. It might be a to-do list, a memory, a worry, a story. Whatever it is, just notice. I'm thinking. And then gently return your attention to the breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You may find that you get caught in a thought. That's completely normal. The moment you notice, oh, I'm thinking, is a moment of mindfulness. That's the practice. You are not doing it wrong. Just come back kindly, gently to the breath. Let's rest here in silence for a few moments. Simply watching thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. Now begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the sounds around you. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to slowly open. Take a moment to notice how you feel now, physically, mentally, emotionally. No need to analyze, just feel and pay attention to what are you more aware of.
That was lovely, Lior. Thank you. I honestly feel calmer already. Like I will pull back from the screen and remember that I'm just watching.
I'm so glad, and I hope our listeners felt that as well. This is a practice you can return to anytime, whether you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or simply want to reconnect with the present moment. Today, we explored the concept of mental nutrition, not just about what we avoid, but what we intentionally choose to feed our minds. Just like our physical health, our mental and emotional well-being is shaped by the quality of what we take in, the stories we tell ourselves, the conversation we engage in, and the belief we repeat. All of these elements influence our inner world. And that brings us to a natural next question. If we want to nourish the minds in a healthy way, what are the essential ingredients we need? In our next episode, we'll dive into two powerful nutrients for the mind and the heart: acceptance and compassion, and explore how they can transform the way we relate to ourselves and to life.
Yes, I can already feel that episode brewing. I'm really looking forward to that one. So here's something to reflect on until the next time. What are you feeding your mind with? And is it nourishing you? And maybe what it feels like to begin replacing judgment or fear with acceptance and compassion. Thank you, Lior, for guiding us, and to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this inward journey. If this resonates with you, consider sharing it with a friend who might be feeling overwhelmed by the mental junk food of daily life. We all find ourselves there from time to time. Lior, where can people find out more about the work you do?
Sure, they can check my website, liorcohen.coach.
The link will be in the podcast description. Until next time, breathe, notice, and remember, may you choose nourishing thoughts, kind reflections, and prepare your mind for a deeper taste of acceptance and compassion.
Thank you, Hila. Always a pleasure to explore these ideas with you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to our podcast. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Lior Cohen podcast, your gateway to reconnecting with your true self and living the life you were meant to live. Join us every week for a new episode filled with insights and practical tools to help you grow, heal, and step into the best version of yourself. Until next time, stay present and keep trusting your inner wisdom.